From the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Well, welcome back. It is just about 6:30. Good morning. I'm Devin Fehely.
And I'm Melissa Caen.
School officials in San Ramon say they now know who's responsible for threatening graffiti at Cal High School. They say they've identified several students after the graffiti was found on a shack near the football field earlier this month. The high school says students who are responsible could face expulsion and possibly criminal charges. The graffiti was one of 4 threatening messages left at the school. The most recent incident happened on Thursday.
And a San Francisco Muni train is still out of service this morning after a new problem with its doors was caught on camera. Now take a look at this. This train had just left the Embarcadero station last night when a door opens there when it's not supposed to. Now just before this, the door had opened while the train was moving at high speed. Now, this is just the latest problem for Muni. Last month, a woman was caught on camera getting her hand caught in a train door and then dragged. Now, Muni is currently testing a fix for that issue on its new trains. The agency just released this demonstration of its new door sensors. If there are any fingers in the way, the doors reopen, as you see there. The agency is now taking this test to the streets.
Some Napa residents are back at home this morning after they were forced to shelter in place for several hours. Crews had to clean up a hazardous spill right outside of their homes. It happened when a truck that was hauling hazardous material overturned on Redwood Road near Lynn Drive. Now, officials say the truck was carrying canisters filled with inert gas. Hazmat crews responded as a precaution. No one was hurt and the roads are now clear.
And let's get a live look at SFO. We've got a new project getting underway there to reduce bird strikes, especially strikes involving raptors. Teams backed by United Airlines will be looking for birds of prey to trap them and then move them to safer habitats. The airport has had 17 bird strikes so far this year, and damage to planes happens about once per 95,000 flights. Now, experts say that golf courses actually tend to be good places to relocate raptors, partly because of the high perches with the views across the fairway.
And speaking of birds of prey, we have an update this morning on the peregrine falcons atop the clock tower at UC Berkeley. The 2 chicks born last month were banded yesterday. Researchers say the chicks are both boys and in great health. And we are getting a look at some new renderings for the A's proposed waterfront ballpark. The design by a Danish architectural firm features terrace outfield lawns and open space surrounding the ballpark. The approval process will likely take years, and if the A's plans come together, they'll be playing in the new stadium in 2023. The city also released drawings of its vision for the current Coliseum site. It will be converted for housing, retail, and restaurants, as well as open space for baseball and soccer fields.
And Missouri lawmakers just passed one of the most restrictive abortion bills in the U.S. Now, it bans abortions at 8 weeks of pregnancy, and it does include an exception for medical emergencies, but not for pregnancies caused by incest or rape. And one Republican lawmaker was met with hisses because during the debate on the bill, he used the term consensual rape.
Most of my rapes were not the gentleman jumping out of the bushes that nobody had ever met. That was 1 or 2 times out of 100. Most of them were date rapes or consensual rapes.
There is no such thing as consensual rape.
Start until 8 weeks.
He later said he misspoke. Missouri's governor is expected to sign the bill, but the ACLU, Planned Parenthood, and other groups say they'll challenge it in court.
The White House is lifting tariffs on steel and aluminum imported from Canada and Mexico. Now, by Monday, there will be no more tariffs on those products from our northern and southern neighbors. The Trump administration has imposed tariffs in March of last year. They amounted to a 25% tax on steel and a 10% tax on aluminum.
They've been charging us extremely high tariffs, as much as 285% or more. When you pay 285, guess what? You know what they're saying? We don't want your business.
These tariffs were harming workers and consumers on both sides of the border.
Could pave the way for Congress to sign off on the new U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. It would replace NAFTA. Now, meanwhile, the White House says that it will delay duties on cars and auto parts in the European Union and Japan. The Trump administration threatened to slap tariffs on some cars and car parts over what it called national security concerns. But auto industry insiders say the duties would jeopardize jobs and raise prices for consumers.
Now, southern Santa Clara County is known for its garlic, and some locals in the industry say they could benefit from the U.S. tariff war with China. They say Chinese garlic growers have long dumped cheap product on the U.S. market. And now that the U.S. will tack on an extra 25% charge, well, Ken Christopher of Christopher Ranch in Gilroy says this could level the playing field and raise demand for California garlic.
Having Chinese garlic be more competitive and actually play by the fair rules of the market means the world for me and my family.
A Christopher Ranch is the largest garlic producer in the U.S. and the largest employer in Gilroy.
The landmark San Geronimo Golf Course in Marin County will soon be free to the public, but it won't be for a free day at the links. The nonprofit land trust bought the property and plans to use it as public open space. The county wants to hear how you think they should use it. Some have suggested restoring a nearby salmon run. Others say a fire station should be located to the area.
It's the last piece of private property that can connect over 100,000 acres of public land. We'll work with the county, with the state, with all different public agencies to see how we can get this property in public hands.
Today, a new pedestrian and bicycle path is opening. It's designed to reconnect a long divided Bay Area neighborhood. Now, the new overpass spans Highway 101 near the East Bay Shore Road in East Palo Alto. Chopper 5 flew over the bike and walkway yesterday. It solves a long simmering problem in East Palo Alto. Highway 101 cuts right through the city, separating a third of its residents from all of the schools and many shopping outlets. Now, officials say that the new path will have a major impact on the community's quality of life. You can start riding later this morning at 10 a.m.
And rains have been so heavy in the North Bay that a dam is being deflated after just a few days. Now, for months, the Russian River's inflatable dam sits at the bottom of the river, and the Sonoma Water Agency raised it up last week. But soon it went back down because it was already partially submerged from this week's rain. With more rain on the way, they said they're not taking any chances. It will be reinflated in the next couple of weeks when conditions dry out.
Federal engineers say an aging flood control dam in Orange County is at risk of failing. The Prado Dam is supposed to prevent the Santa Ana River from overflowing after heavy rain. It protects parts of Anaheim, including Disneyland, and dozens of more communities downstream. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is concerned about a concrete spillway at the dam, which dates back to 1941. They say that spillway may not be able to handle water that could pour over the top of the dam during a deluge. They just changed the risk from moderate urgency to high. The engineers are now working on plans to fix the spillway and to alert people if a flood is coming.
And tonight's blue moon won't be just any blue moon. It'll be an even more rare blue flower moon. Now, a flower moon is called that because it is full in May when flowers bloom. And it's called blue not because of its color, but because of its number. This Saturday will actually mark the third of 4 full moons this spring. This is more rare than 2 full moons in 1 month.
A Bay Area student is one of the winners at this year's Intel International Science and Engineering Fair. Allison Jai from San Jose's Harker School won $50,000 for her investigation into something called toxic tau protein aggregates. They spread in the brain and are associated with neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's. We're told this event is the world's largest international pre-college science competition. Congratulations to Allison. Some hardworking women are taking over a construction site in Fremont.
Yeah, and it's all for a good cause. Women's Leadership Build is teaming up with Habitat for Humanity in Fremont. They're helping to launch phase 2 of an affordable housing project called Central Commons. Now, among the women wielding power tools are civic and corporate leaders and women who now know firsthand the joys of home ownership.
We have some of the members of Phase 1 that did their 500 hours of sweat equity, and they're now in their homes, but they're coming out today to help build their neighbors' homes, and we think that's great.
11 units are already complete and occupied, and the next 19 should be finished this time next year. Meanwhile, the Bay Area economy is adding even more jobs than before. New state numbers show that our region added 13,000 new jobs in April. That's the most in 4 years. The East Bay gained 3,800. Santa Clara County added 3,400. And San Francisco and San Mateo each 2,000. And it's not just tech jobs. Construction and healthcare are also seeing robust job growth.
And tomorrow is the 108th annual Bay to Breakers race. If you have to drive into San Francisco, there will be a number of street closures for the Crosstown costume party. KPIX 5's Emily Turner has your way around it all.
All right, a big race this weekend, Beta Breakers. Now, it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, but those road closures are going to start much earlier than that, especially at the start line and the finish line. That will begin at 7 p.m. on Saturday until 4 p.m. on Sunday. Let's zoom into where those closures are on the starting line, right there just off the Embarcadero, pretty much from Mission, Beale, Folsom, and Embarcadero. That big yellow box, that's all going to be closed, no go until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that red line is the race path. There are closures that are kind of rolling throughout the morning, starting at 3 a.m., Howard to Hawthorne. Then starting at 5 a.m., you're going to have closures right there at Steiner, Baker, Divisadero, Cabrillo, Balboa, Point Lobos, all again starting at 5 o'clock. And then Howard, 9th, Hayes, and Fell will be starting at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then the finish line is where we'll see more closures. This is all the west end of Golden Gate Park. Basically, your east-west routes are going to be Irving and Cabrillo, and then the Great Highway is your north-south route, although there will be a portion of that that's going to be closed. I would say certainly just avoid this if you can. In fact, I would avoid the whole area if I were you. Take public transportation if you need to get there.
And Sierra ski resorts are blanketed in late season snow this morning, and plenty of people took advantage of all that fresh powder. They hit the slopes at Squaw Valley yesterday, and while some were digging themselves out, that spring snowfall was good news for Squaw, which plans to keep the slopes open through July.
Okay, the 7-day forecast looks real busy, but the highlight is this weekend. I went over all the details on Saturday and Sunday's rain earlier in the newscast. If you missed it, plan on a chance of rain throughout the day today. At times, we're going to get some good waves with isolated thunderstorms mixed in. That means good downpours, maybe even some pretty good wind. So just be ready for that today. Sunday is a similar story, although the showers on Sunday will be a bit more isolated. We still have to keep a chance for isolated thunderstorms throughout the day on Sunday. Then we get a break on Monday before the next system gets here. Nowhere near as impressive as this one for the weekend. But yes, there is some rain on Tuesday. It'll just be a few light showers for Tuesday, though.
All right, that's such a strange-looking 7-day forecast for mid-May, I gotta say.
It is.
All right, time for us to call it a morning. Thank you for watching KPIX 5 News this morning.